It's Dr. Ware here from Hero Sports and Family Chiropractic. I wanted to share with you a few things today about lower back pain and maybe what's your cause of the back pain and a couple things that you can do to remedy that. So looking at what happens in the spine when you have issues in men, women, and in athletes and younger people, something that I find most common. With men in particular, there's an issue when it comes to like wearing utilizing a wallet, right? So let me show you. This is a spine, model spine. Your lumbar spine is here. That's where that lower back pain would be. This particular area here is your sacrum, and these are your hip bones. So for a man who is utilizing a wallet, what he ends up doing is, say, he's putting it in one pocket the whole time. And so while he's putting it in that pocket, what he's doing is taking this hip bone and basically shoving it into his sacrum. You can see that there. It's that shove into the sacrum. And while you're doing that, you don't allow for all these joints to move properly. So you lock this in, everything else is moving hyper. This left side is moving hyper because this side, the right side here, is locked in. And so because you have that, you have pain over here sometimes. You may have pain up here because this L5 vertebra above that is moving more. So that's men, all right, who utilize wallets. Women, on the other hand, is a little different. Women, the most common issue I see is wearing heels. So when you're wearing heels, what you're doing is you're essentially, you have these are where your femurs would be, your legs. And so what you're essentially doing is forcing your hip bones into that sacrum. You see? You're forcing them in, you're pushing your sacrum forward, and while you're pushing your sacrum forward, you're locking it in there, and then everything else above it becomes either hypermobile or you cause some sort of issue by pressing on these disc space because you have too much pressure there. So that's for women. For my athletes and my younger people, what I see a lot is because they may be involved in school, so they're sitting a lot. They may be involved in something a little bit different. Students, it's more of a issue where everything is locked in. This is also somebody who works at a desk. You have a lot of muscles that originate along your lumbar spine here, and they insert inside of your pelvis here. So they go from here to here. So when you sit, you approximate those, so you keep them tight, right? So they're tight for a long time, and say you're sitting 8 hours a day, then they're accustomed to being in this space for 8 hours a day, and so they get comfortable there. So that's where they want to be. And then you try to go do some sort of activity and where you're stretching out, and what ends up happening is you're pulling so much on these lumbar because you haven't done that for a while, right? So you've been sitting here, you've basically shortened the muscle because you sit a lot, and then while you're trying to do some sort of activity or sporting event or something that's going to cause you to be physically active, you're doing more pulling here. So you have more pain in the lower back because of all this pull in this area. So what to do about all that? When it comes to men and having their wallet in the back pocket, that's a relatively easy fix, and that is moving your wallet to your front pocket. So we have that. When it comes to the other components of like women wearing heels, well, I know you're not going to give up your heels. So part of it is looking at a heel that may be smaller, looking at a heel that has a thicker back, and also when you come out of your heels, you have to do something to counter that motion. So maybe if you were doing like a press off of the ground to stretch out everything in front to give you more of instead of this action here, something that's going to cause you to go here. So that may be pulling your legs to your chest and holding it there and rocking for a while, something along those lines. When it comes to those athletes who are those people who've been sitting all day, your solution would be to take yourself in the opposite motion, putting one leg on a chair and stretching forward to stretch out all these muscles in here, lying flat on the ground and pressing up like in a Superman. That will be another one to help. And any other motion that you could do to stretch out your hips will benefit you quite a bit when it comes to alleviating that back pain. Now, if it gets beyond that and you can't handle that, then it's time for you to make the phone call to come see me. So it's Dr. Ware for Hero Sports and Family Chiropractic. Like this, share it, comment.